Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're hopping into Garp's challenge Eneru and finishing off the sort of walkthrough for you guys of the 10-star Garp's challenges for the quick variation. So in today's video, I do have 3 teams for you guys. As quick sort of struggles a little bit with sub potentials, I just found it really hard to find different options for every single team for you guys. So I just put together 3 teams just like Dofi 1, Rev 1, and Whitebeard. So the first team is utilizing double Sobamask. Sobamask has the jump mechanic, which is really good at getting around the stun. He's an attack booster. He's 4.25 as long as you have a T&D orb. So if you have him Limit Break key, it's basically essential for this unit. We can use the Nami support on Sobamask as we can remove bind on the second stage, which is super nice. We have Bellamy with double special. He's an orb booster for this particular team, which is great. We've got Luffy and Law. They're an orb booster, and with this particular setup, you kind of need to have this Mistim support, unfortunately. He's a limited rare recruit. But if you guys do have him and you have this team, it does work very, very well, as Mistims can actually give you back your specials. We have Tesseru on this team. He's a chain locker for the final stage, which is great, but he can replace with any other chain locker. And then we've got O'Robbie with the support of Mr. Zero. Now, Mr. Zero can remove special blinds on the final battle and gives 1 turn of special cooldown. And then with O'Robbie's special, she can actually remove special blinds, so it's an easy way to get around that. Now, if you have Karasao Limit Break keyed, you could also use him. He'll work absolutely fine as well. Next, we're utilizing a Shanks and Sugar hybrid team. Shanks' crew is just super, super good for this particular fighter, so he can remove special blind, and that way you don't have to worry about it on the final turn. He's a HP cutter, he does 3.5 times chain lock, he does end of turn damage. You guys know how amazing Shanks' crew is. We are using Sugar on this particular team to get around the stun. Now, there are other ways to get around stun, mainly the pudding support on Sanji, but I wanted to include a different way to get around it besides that, and obviously the jump mechanic of Sanji, or Sobamask. So utilizing Sugar as a sub actually works really, really well. We do have Smoke on this team. He's basically replaceable with any other orb booster. I just really wanted to include him somewhere in this video. We have Bonnie. She's a 2-turn attack boost for quick units, which is great. She also removes blind on the second last stage, which is awesome. And then we've got Blackbeard. He's an orb booster as well, with the Lafitte special to remove blind on the second turn. So utilizing a friend Sugar, we can get the bear mechanic, and it just works really, really well. This team's quite safe, and it does quite a lot of damage. The final team is a Komorosaki Shanks crew team. Komorosaki and Shanks crew actually work really, really well together. Komorosaki can give you a full board of orbs as well as doubling attack and orbs, which is great. Shanks crew can also do damage reduction just like Komorosaki does. She's a 4x leader. You have the chain lock. Basically, with the 2 of them, you have every buff that you need, and you can fill out the rest of the team with utility. But we have Okiku on this team. I am using the Smoker support. That is definitely not essential whatsoever. You can use the Zoro and Sanji special instead, but Okiku has double special. She can remove blind. She's color affinity for the final stage. So for the last 2 stages, she's very, very good. We are using Lucy on this particular team. He has the carryover attack boost, which is great. He can double the attack of strength, dex, and quick. He's great for when you go into the stage where you get your specials rolled back. He has the Halloween Ace support too to remove blind on the second stage, which is super, super nice as well. Next, we've got Onami. She's just basically here for healing, and as well as the Karina support, giving damage reduction on that same stage that we are getting the second effect of the Lucy special. So she's really, really good. And then finally, we've got Zoro and Sanji with the support of Pudding to remove the stun on the final stage, as well as just give us an attack boost if we need. So they're the 3 teams for you guys in this particular video. That's enough about that. Let's hop into the runs. Alright, so team number 1 is the double Sobamask team. So let's hop in. Now, this team does require some limited rare recruit supports. It does require Mistims on our Luffy and Law. To make this team work as well as it does, it's kind of required, unfortunately. But like I've always said with all of these videos that I've been putting together, the idea of these videos is for you guys to sort of chop and change and sort of move characters around depending on what units you guys have in your actual box. So on turn 1, we are going to make sure we switch into the Law variation, take down the quick Marine, so that way we can get all of our cooldowns and move on to the next stage against the 3 Skypiea units. Now, the 3 Skypiea units, they're going to special bind and bind 3 of our random crewmates. But we do have the support of Valentine's Nami on our Sobamask. So what we can do is we can use our Sobamask special to get an attack boost. We can remove the bind with Nami, and then we can actually jump with both our Sobamask. Now, the reason we're going to jump early is because we're actually going to get that back by the final stage. We are going to target the the strength unit in the back with our other units, and then let the jumps take out the Dex and the quick variation. That way, when we move on to the next stage against Tweedledee and Tweedledum, we can actually utilize the jump mechanic of Sobamask once again to actually get through the barrier. So what we're going to do here is we are going to use one of the Sobamask specials. That way we can get an attack boost once again. We are going to break the barrier still, and then we are going to actually just hit Greats with our Sanji. Because of the extra damage that the Sanjis do on the jump mechanic, we can easily just take out Tweedledee and Tweedledum just by hitting Greats on that entire stage. On to the next stage, we come up against Wiper and 2 of his Skypiea friends. So what we're actually going to do on this particular stage, we can switch with our Luffy and Law. We can use our quick units to take down the strength unit in the back, and then we can actually just let Luffy and Law take out the quick unit. That way we don't take any damage on this particular stage, and we can actually tear through it fairly quickly. Now we do want to actually stall a turn here on, or actually do we need to stall a turn here on Wiper? Yeah, we do actually want to stall a turn here on Wiper, just so we can actually get rid of that special bind that is inflicted on our Luffy and Law. That is the most important thing, and that's the big reason why we actually brought the support of Mistims, is actually for this next turn. So we are going to start whittling down Wiper's HP, but we are going to take as much turns as we can on him, as he's giving us 2 turns of cooldown. We are actually going to use those 2 turns of cooldown, mainly because we do want to actually farm some orbs. So we're just going to take out Wiper now, easy peasy. And then that way we can move on to the next stage against, I cannot remember his name, and I cannot remember his name either. The dude on the ball and the wingnut looking dude. So because they do give special reverse for 3 turns, this is where the Mistims support will kick in. So what Mistims is going to do is he's going to give us a damage reduction, and he's going to give us cooldowns on our Luffy and our Law unit. We are going to switch with Luffy and Law, that way they can give themselves a matching orb, and they can give themselves an attack boost, and then we can actually use their special to get an orb buff as well. The idea of using this strat is actually to just take out this dude on the ball. That is the actual main reason we are using the Mistim support, and obviously Luffy and Law's amazing special ability, mainly so we can take him out in 1 turn. That way he's actually not going to give us the attack down. That's super, super important. Then on the second turn, we can actually take out the wingnut looking dude. I know that's not his name, but that's going to be his name forever in my heart. We managed to get a meat orb, so we are going to gobble that up. And then we can move on to the next stage against Gidatsu and Om. So against Gidatsu and Om, they are going to bind our bottom row for, I think it's, 4 turns, so it goes down to 1 with sockets. And at this point, we actually have our jump mechanic back, which is super, super handy, because what we're actually going to do on this particular stage, we can use the special of Bellamy, as Bellamy has double special activation and can give us some matching orbs. And then we can actually use the jump mechanic of the Sobbers. The reason we're going to be using the jump mechanic of the Sobbers is so that we can actually take out our boy Om on this particular stage, just with the what's it called, the jump abilities, the extra damage that is provided for us. And then on the next stage, we can take out Gidatsu, just utilizing that jump as well. Now, the reason we want to jump on this particular stage is when we move into the final stage against Enel, he is actually going to stun our captains and give us a full board of Special Bind as well as Fear. So the reason that we have brought Robin with the Mr. Zero support is he's actually going to remove the Special Bind on Orobi, and that way we can actually use the special of Orobi to remove the rest of the Special Bind, which is super, super nice. With the Sobamask jump as well, we can actually get around the stun on our captains, so that way we can use all of our specials. We can use the special of Sobamask to get an attack boost, we can use Bellamy for an orb boost, and then we can actually finish off with Tessero to get a chain lock. Now, I actually stuffed up. Ideally, you want to use your Tessero special first, just so you get a little bit more damage output, as T&D orbs provide you more damage with the Sobamask captains. But as you can see there, we do have plenty of damage to take out Enel, even with my stuff up. So the team works very, very well. Unfortunately, though, you do need to have that Mistim support for this team to function as well as it does. Alright, so moving on to the second team now, we are using a Komorosaki and Shanks crew hybrid team. Komorosaki and Shanks crew actually hybrid up really, really well, as they both have a lot of damage reduction. They're both slashes, I guess, mainly, and they can actually just partner up really, really well. Unfortunately, though, Shanks will not be boosted when we are the Psy variant, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. You just need to be careful on your burst turns, that you make sure that you are in the crew variation. That is the most important thing. So after we get our cooldowns, we can move on to the second stage now, against the 3 Skypiea units. Now, against the 3 Skypiea units, they're going to bind and special bind 3 of our random crewmates. Shanks crew's going to remove the special bind, and with the support of Halloween Ace, we can remove the bind, which is great. We can switch with our Shanks crew for an attack buff, and on this particular turn, we really just want to try and take out both the strength and the quick lackey, as we will have color unfavorable against the Dex unit, so we will have to take him either on the next turn or the turn after that. So onto the second turn now, we can actually just switch with our Shanks crew once again. We can get an attack boost that way, and then we can try and hit our perfects. Alright, if you guys aren't spoons, you will do a lot better than I did on that particular turn. But like I said, it's not that big of an issue, as we do have healing on this particular team with Onami, so we are going to utilize that when we can. Beautiful. So moving on to the next turn now, we come up against Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Now they are going to put up a Great Barrier for 2 turns, and it's a 3-hit Great Barrier, so we are going to use our Komorosaki special on this particular turn. That way we can get an attack and an orb boost to our quick units, and on this particular turn we are going to try and do as much damage as we possibly can. And fortunately that burn is around 5k, which actually can be a lot of damage, so just be mindful if you are hitting perfects on that turn, how much damage you are taking. They will hit you for around 8-ish k. Depending on if you have your crew or your Shanks out, it will vary. So just be mindful that you will take quite a bit of damage if you are getting hit as well as taking the burn. On the second turn though, we should be able to take them out. We are going to hit a perfect on that stage, as we don't want to take any longer than 2 turns. And the 5k is not that big of an issue, as we can get that back with the Onami special. On the next turn, we come up against Wiper and 2 of his Skypiea lackeys. Now the guy with the chef hat can be on a 2-turn cooldown, or he could be on a 1-turn cooldown. Now depending on what that is depending on how you want to sort of operate this particular stage. But as you can see, you really just want to take out the quick guy in the back, and then we can focus on these guys on the next turn. Now we are going to stall a little bit here on the Wiper stage, so you can hit your perfects if you want to try and get some healing back, as Komorosaki can provide quite a bit of healing as long as you are hitting your perfects. Make sure that you are staying in the crew variation though, that way you can actually get damage reduction from both Komorosaki and Shanks crew. What you can do as well is you can actually switch into the colors that aren't actually getting boosted from Komorosaki, and that way it's easy to just hit perfects, as they're really just not getting that big of an attack boost at all. So as you can see, we are stalling a little bit on Wiper here, because we basically just want to make sure that we get our Komorosaki special back by the end of the fight. Once the cooldowns has gone to 1 and your cooldowns are around sort of 6, this is where we can move on now. I just used the Lucy special in this particular stage, and ideally you want to switch into Zoro and Shanks. That way they're actually not doing too much damage, as they're not getting fully boosted from Komorosaki. On the next turn, we come up against the dude on the ball and the wingnut looking guy. They're going to special reverse us, which can be a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. As we do have the attack boost from Lucy, we can switch with Shanks crew for some matching orbs. We can switch back into our Sanji, and then we can actually use the Onami special to give ourselves quite a bit of healing. Now the beautiful thing about using Onami as well, because she has special reverse, is we can use the Karina support. Now Karina is really good, as she can give us some matching orbs, but she can also give us damage reduction for 2 turns. So as we are going to hang around on this particular stage for a little while, it's going to make life a lot easier, as we will be tanking quite a bit of damage. As we don't kill the dude on the ball in the first turn, he's going to give us attack down. So we do want to try and stall that out before the next turns. So once that gets down to a 2-turn cooldown is our indication to move on. If you do get any meat orbs here as well, make sure you are gobbling those up. That way you can get a bit of healing back, but hitting perfects with Komorosaki will suffice just as well, as she can give you quite a lot of healing with those perfects. Oh, we got quite a bit of meat orbs here. Beautiful. Make sure that you don't kill this dude before the counter hits the 2 turns. Very, very important, as you don't want to move into the next turn with the attack down. So now that we're on the 2-turn cooldown, we are going to move on. We are going to just attack with our units next to Shanks crew, because we can guarantee those characters some orbs. Then we can move on to the next stage. So on to the next stage now, we come up against Gidatsu and Om. Now with Gidatsu and Om, they're going to bind our bottom row. But what you can do on this particular stage, if you don't have the Smoker special, you can actually use the special of the Sanji and Zoro. Now we're going to use Okiku here to remove the the bind on the bottom row. Then we can switch with our Shanks crew, and then we're actually going to use our Shanks crew special. Now, Shanks crew is going to give us a 3.5 times chain lock, which is awesome. And he's actually going to give us that end of turn damage, which is really, really nice. We are going to try and focus all of our attacks here onto Om, though. We do want to try and put in as much damage into him as possible. And then actually switch to Gidatsu. Oh my god, I missed a perfect. No! How did I miss that perfect? Look, we're here now, we're going to continue. But ideally, you just don't want to miss that perfect there. Honestly, you probably don't even need to switch after seeing how much damage Shanks crew does. I always forget that it's like 2.5 mil. I always think it's like 1.5 mil. I've been playing a lot with Kaido lately. But it's really not that big of a deal. Moving on to the final stage against Enel, he's going to stun our captains with the support of putting on our Zoro and our Sanji unit. We can remove the stun. We got the special bind removal with our Shanks crew captain. Then we can use the Komorosaki special for an attack buff. We can use a Kiku for an orb boost. Sorry, a color affinity. And with Komorosaki, we also have an orb boost as well. So we should have a 3.5 times chain lock as well on this particular stage. But as you can see, there's enough damage here that even if you are a spoon, that you can easily take it out. So that was the Shanks crew Komorosaki team. It's fairly safe. It's just quite stally. And the final team of the video is actually a Shanks crew Sugar hybrid team. Now, I have included Sugar on this particular team, and I do have Smoker, basically, because I just wanted to include them in the video. But you could easily chop and change your characters around if you are missing these particular units. But with this particular team, running Sugar as a friend captain as well as a sub, it makes it very, very easy to get around the stun at the end. Sugar's bears, they really don't give a rat's ass about stun, which is super, super fun. So on the first turn, we are going to take out the quick Marine so we can get our cooldowns and move on to the second stage against the Skypiea units. Against the Skypiea units, they are going to special bind and bind our 3 random characters or crew members. With the support of Lafitte on Blackbeard, we can remove the bind, and obviously Shanks crew's captain Millie is going to remove the special bind. We're then going to switch with our Shanks crew and then use our friend Sugar special. Turn everyone into bears, and then we're actually going to attack in a particular order. So we're going to focus on the strength guy. We're going to switch to the dex and then go back to the strength. That way we can actually take everyone out in the first turn. As the chain builds its way up, as you can see, the bears just do more and more damage, and even though we have type disadvantage, we still have an orb to spare. So when we move into this particular stage against Tweedledee and Tweedledum, we can easily take them out as well. Now, depending on your orb block, as you can see, my orb block wasn't overly great. It's depending on how much damage you will do on this particular stage. Now, there is a little glitch that you can abuse with Sugar. I'm not going to do it, but if you don't kill on this particular stage, as I didn't, you can actually close the app and reopen it, and you'll actually come back with all the bears again. Now, this only works if you aren't moving into a previous stage or into the next stage, but it is a nice little cheat code for you guys looking for, like, glitches, and if you guys want to like take advantage of the extra damage. But as you can see, like, you can do so much damage that you can just finish them off on the next turn anyway. On to the next stage, we come up against Wiper and 2 of his Skypiea friends. We are going to just switch with Shanks crew on this particular turn, and we're going to try and do as much damage as we possibly can to the quick unit. Now, the quick unit is always on a 1-turn cooldown, but the dude with the chef hat can be on a 1-turn cooldown or a 2-turn cooldown. Now, unlucky for me, I actually got him on a 1-turn cooldown, which is a little bit annoying. But because we have color affinity against these 2 units, Wiper and this chef hat dude, we can easily take them out on the next turn. Well, I was going to say, well, you would if you weren't a spoon and did hit your perfects, but we actually just managed to get a little bit lucky there. On the next turn, we are going to come up against the dude on the ball and the wingnut looking guy. I do not know their names. I'm going to switch with Shanks crew on this particular turn, giving ourselves an attack boost, and then we can actually use the super type of Sugar. Now, the super type of Sugar should allow us to get enough damage to actually take out the dude on the ball here, as she's actually going to give us an orb boost to our characters that are 40 cost and below. And with the attack buff, okay, we aren't, or are we? Yeah, cool. So, and with the attack buff of Shanks, just having the 2 orbs on our Sugars is actually going to help us out significantly. On the next turn, we can switch with Shanks crew once again, and we should be able to take out the wingnut looking guy on this particular stage. Maybe not. I'm going to eat this meat orb just because I don't think I am. How much damage is this guy going to do? Ooh, that meat orb actually just might have saved us there, but I'm not 100% sure if it did. It might have. I guess we'll find out. Now that we've got our specials back, if you didn't do much damage there, you could easily just pop a special. But we are going to use them moving into the next stage against Gidatsu and Om here. Now, against Gidatsu and Om, they are going to bind our bottom row. So this is where we can actually use our Bonnie special. Bonnie is going to give us an attack boost for this turn. She's going to remove the binds. And that way we can actually carry the attack boost into the next stage. Then we can switch with our Shanks crew. We can use his special to give ourselves a 3.5 times chain lock. And then we can actually use the Blackbeard special to set the defense to 0, as well as give ourselves an orb buff as well. With that, we have the chain lock from Shanks, and as long as you hit your 6 perfects, you should be able to take out this stage easy peasy. You don't even need to hit 6 perfects, apparently. Cool. Make sure that you are in the quick variation of Shanks' crew when you do use their special. Otherwise, you will find it a little bit annoying, as Enel will turn into a int unit, which you definitely do not want. Because Shanks' crew removes the special bind on this stage, we have the carry of the attack boost from Bonnie. We can use our Smoker special to give ourselves an orb buff. He's replaceable with any other orb booster. Then we can use our Sugar special to get around the stun. And with that, it's going to be absolutely GG. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lates!